Alright, so how you doing today, y'all? Hope everybody has had or having a good day, depending on where you are. Subscribe, like, and share. Just trying to get my thoughts together here about this article here. So a lot of you guys that are athletes or former athletes, and you, particularly if you play the NBA, you know who the guy I'm talking about, or I'm about to talk about, is Kevin Garnett, KG. Right, played a long time in the NBA, had a lot of success in different categories: scoring, rebounding, block shots. I'm pretty sure he's top 10 or 15 in those particular areas. Played 22 years, and I know he won the NBA champion. He should be in the Hall of Fame, okay? If he's not in the Hall of Fame, he will make the Hall of Fame. I'm pretty certain that he's in the Hall of Fame. And, well, he's gotten on the blotter on the news with some type of social media. The news is trying to paint this as a domestic violence incident. Okay, I think what it was probably a disagreement that escalated. Okay, before it got to that point. Let me explain for a little further. Now, the girlfriend of this young man, she was asked by the police, "Did you need any medical, aid or attention?" And she refused it. She had made the statement just saying, "Look, you know what? These disagreements do happen and things like that. All right, I don't want to take this any further." This is what she was saying or implying in so many words, y'all. Okay, and she didn't really want to take that any further. Then I guess just, I don't know, maybe somebody to try to mediate the issue, or maybe she was trying to vet. It sounded like she was trying to vet, because the reports are something about there was a disagreement ensued. KG was trying to leave the house, and something to the effect where she was in the way, and he was just trying to get around her, all right, to try to walk out of the door. Okay? Now, a couple of things about KG. If you really look at his record, he's been pretty good, okay? That he really didn't get any trouble. I understood a long time ago when he was going to his senior year in high school, he got in a little bit of trouble, okay? He was from South Carolina, and he ended up going to Chicago probably to get out of that wherever situation he was in, okay? But really, he wasn't on the blotter for any type of how can I say, violations, but particularly incidents like this. Now, I do know that he had, an unpleasant divorce after he got out. He's been out a few years after he got out, and also there was one of his managers or brokers that were taking a lot of money from him. He was trying to recover some of that money back. I do remember listening to that story and things like that, okay? And I believe I made an article about that incident here when I first started doing these videos back, 2021, something like that. So he doesn't have that kind of record on him, okay? But they want to try to picture him to be some type of, I don't know, woman beater or something to that effect. Now, back to the main course of this story. So it seemed like it's something that, I guess, between KG, both parties, and then the police, it was something that's mediated. But I think it's one of the things that KG, as well as his girl, they're going to have to watch themselves, okay? Because I'm pretty sure if the police, wherever they're at, or they get any more calls, they're probably going to make an arrest, okay? Whether that person was there or not, okay? Or they're going to have to probably get the two parties in court, you know, to try to figure out what they want to do about the situation. You know what? I'm not here, just in closing, to give you any type of relationship advice. Because heck, to be honest with you, my relationship life is right now in shambles, all right? Where I thought there were things going to be a certain way, the way that I wanted, and then it turned out it wasn't that way. And that's a long story. But all I can say is just what I think, okay? You can use your own sound judgment. I think that if it gets to a point where, yeah, disagreements do happen, but things escalate, and then the police has got to get involved, somebody's going to call the police. Just what I think that it's probably over, okay? Are there exceptions to the rule? Absolutely. Okay, it could maybe been some frustrated comments. You know, a person may have been vetting. You know, I'm thinking if it's a thing where maybe if there were a thing where maybe nobody was actually putting their hands on somebody, there may be a chance, but usually 9 times out of 10, that means it's over. Okay, but it sounded like to me. It sounded like to me, okay, in my opinion, she thought she could probably try to provoke something. He probably walked out, okay, and maybe she was trying to find a reason or whatever to say he did something. Maybe he was going around her, maybe he brushed her or something like that, and you retaliate because he walked away. Then she called the police, okay? It's kind of like somebody live in your house, or a woman live in your house, fellas or ladies, and then they get kicked out or whatever, they ask to leave or whatever, and then they want to retaliate by calling the police. You know, when, you know, it's kind of like in the end of the day, if they ask to leave, then they need to leave. I really think that was a cheap move to make, okay? To try to ruin somebody's life and, you know, potentially like career and things like that, because KG is doing like sports podcasting and things like that, try to mess up his money, you know, and over a disagreement. And I'm thinking they may have had maybe a few problems like that, you know, before that point, before he even got to that point. Usually that's how it rolls. I just did a story a couple of months ago like that about Isaiah Worthy, the wide receiver from Kansas City, that you guys knew about, where he came home after the Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl, and then the girl in Austin, Texas, the girl is cheating on him. He found out and they told her to leave. She was there for, I don't know, several days, and she didn't leave. You know, and he called the police or whatever, or she made some excuse or whatever to get the police involved because he told her to get out, and then he ended up getting arrested. And then after further review, then he was let go, because this is a common thing with many women. Okay, they're in situations like that. I'm not saying women, okay, to try to get back at the guy and things like that. Okay, and the police is going to assume that the man is an aggressor. Okay, unless proven wrong. That's why, guys, you cannot put your hands on her. And remember one thing, that, you know, you really just can't put her out like Fresh Prince style. There is squatter rights. So the best thing to do is probably call the police or get some type of keep the peace unit involved, okay, to mediate things and maybe give the other party some time to leave. That applies, ladies, to you as well, to the guys, if you have somebody that you having problems with, okay? All right, I think I've said enough. All right, I think that matter seems like it's going to be more than likely resolved. All right, and like I said, use your own judgment, y'all. Things like that. As long as you don't put your hands on nobody, you're good. But having to get the law enforcement involved, you don't want that. It's something that you're surely going to regret. All right, Cash App $, what's inspired me if you want to donate.